Assalamu alaikum. My name is Aisha Hassan, and I'm joined here by my co-host Salman Khan. And this is our first ever episode of Career Talks. Career Talks is a platform which is aimed to provide youth with the first-hand knowledge of the corporate world, guidance to help them reach their goals, counseling for their career growth, and some tips and techniques not only to survive in the corporate world but also excel in it. And this is directly from the industry individuals, experts, and leaders based on their expertise.
It's a pleasure for me to introduce our first guest speaker today, who is going to talk to us about how to tackle workplace issues. So let's welcome Mr. Hamadur Rahman. Assalamu alaikum, sir. How are you?
Walaikum salam, I'm good. Beta.
Okay,
How
sir.
are you?
I'm good, Alhamdulillah. First of all, I would like to thank you for taking out time for us despite a busy schedule. So before we officially start our discussion, I want you to tell us about yourself, your current position, your past experience to the audience who's listening to you.
So, Assalamu alaikum, all of you people who are here and who will be listening to this conversation later on. So, my name is officially Hamadur Rahman. I am currently working or teaching as a lecturer in Metallurgical Engineering Department of NED University of Engineering and Technology based in Karachi, Pakistan. So, I have been working here for past approximately 1 year, 8 months. Before that, I was working with two different industries. I started my career with Amreli Steels, which is currently known as the largest steel manufacturing company all around the Pakistan. So I started my career from there as a management trainee. Once the career has been started, and you can say I have to go through different departments, different learnings have been done. Pursuing my career in Amreli Steel, starting from the management trainee, I've gone through assistant engineer, then towards the assistant manager. Throughout 3 years of my career in Amreli Steel, I have learned a lot. After that, I switched my job and I switched into Descon manufacturing. I guess you heard about it, Descon. Descon is a construction company based on Pakistan. It's a multinational company. I work over there as a business development specialist, currently owing as a position of a regional manager for the business development for the Descon Engineering. Furthermore, than the NED University since July 2019. That's all about my previous experiences in different industries.
Okay, thank you so much for giving your introduction. My second question would be, what was the major difference in the work environment of both industries, Descon and Amreli?
Oh, well, it's a very diversified question. Since Amreli Steel is known as a local company, it started it started back in 1960s and 1970s here in Shisha, Karachi. At that time, they were used to produce nails for household purposes. They are not in the steel manufacturing businesses. So it's a kind of an one owner company, not a corporate company. So at my time when I joined Amreli Steel back in 2016 January, at that time Amreli Steel is evolving from a non-corporate organization towards a corporate organization. Although it's a very long journey to transform a company from a non-corporate organization to corporate organization, there's a huge difference between both of the organization as well. So, as you know, non-corporate organization, there are no laws, no rules and regulations, no standards and SOPs has been followed, no career cycle has been designed. You cannot have a clear career path of yourself in those companies. When you have been working with the non-corporate organization in those companies, simply once you get indulged in that particular company as an MTO, as an assistant engineer, or while as an assistant manager as well, you do not have a clear career path ahead of yourself that in next 5 year or next year where next 6 year where I will be heading towards. So this is the major difference between the Amreli Steels and the Descon. On the other side, Descon is a corporate organization since it is operating in multiple countries, likewise in Pakistan, in Saudi Arabia, in Oman, in Kuwait as well. So Descon is an M&N local multinational company. The origin of a Descon is from the Lahore. Razak Daud is the owner of the Descon Manufacturing Engineering. So since it is a multinational company, so the career, the work environment in multinational companies are very different from the non-corporate organization. Once I, at my time of indulgement in Descon Manufacturing Engineering, I have been clearly defined my goals, my KPIs, what I supposed to do, what will be my job description in that current position, what organization I need to target to develop business for the company, which organization mean to be indulged in our corporate leisure for doing further business in future. So these all are the SOPs, all the standards, all the procedures, all the deadlines, each and everything is in black and white for the corporate organization. You have clearly written performance, you have clearly written procedures, how you're supposed to perform that following work. Alongside with that, I have been given with a career path, or you can say a managerial ladder path, in which they have shown me that if you consistently obtain your KPIs for next 3 to 4 years, you will be heading as a regional manager or the country manager. And furthermore, we will switch you from one department to another department as well. So the first basic difference is the career path, which have been clearly defined in corporate organization, and it is not clearly defined in non-corporate organization. Although when I left Amreli Steel, they are completely, not completely, they're 70 to 80% evolved as in corporate organization from non-corporate organization. Now they have their job descriptions, now they have their KPIs, now they have other supply chain management systems which have involved, because paperless environment is another important point of an corporate organization. For that, they will be using different ERP systems like SAPs. At that time, Amreli is evolving SAP in their system because they are going towards a corporate organization, while Descon have that SAP system way back 6 or 7 years back. They have it. So they shifted from the non-corporate to corporate organization. Second thing, the third thing is that when you are working with a corporate organization, they have clear defined goals that you have to work in particular department or particular. Let's suppose I have been assigned in Descon Manufacturing Engineering. They have other 5 domains as well. They have construction, they have EPC, which will indulge large projects. They have electric, they have business in H2O2 water, H2O2 plants. So they will switch you from one plant to another plant to have a diversified learning exposure in your career ahead, which will help you to become a good manager, good leader of any organization where will you be heading in your future. So this is a bit difference between the non-corporate and the corporate organization, and somehow a bit difference between the Amreli Steels and the Descom.
Okay, thank you for your insight on that. Like you have also managed teams, you have worked in different environments. So I would like to know, what do you think is the difference between constructive and destructive criticism? Since you answered the prior question, so I want to ask you, what do you think is the difference between constructive and destructive criticism?
So you can say criticism is considered always as a good criticism if it is a constructive criticism. And when we talk about a manager versus leader, you can simply define the constructive and destructive criticism. When you are under the supervision of a manager, they always do destructive criticism towards your work and to promote themselves. But once you are working under the supervision of a leader who wants to build or develop his people as well, you always have a constructive criticism from him, because he want to evaluate your mistakes, he wants you to improve yourself. And the basic difference between the constructive and destructive criticism is when you will do a constructive criticism with someone else, you simply do not put burden on him or her. You give him a pathway to resolve his problems and to come up with the solution by him or herself. Likewise, you give them a chance to improve themselves. But As far as destructive criticism is concerned, in destructive criticism, you didn't give them chance to improve themselves. You just tell them that you are not good at this thing, you are not good at working with that environment, you are not suitable for that particular position. In my career in Umreli Steels, I have to face both of the criticism from different management posts. So when at my time when I was working in the production, although I do have a good experience working with the Umreli Steels, since because I have started with it as an MTO, and as MTO I went through every single department of the Umreli Steels, whether it's the production department, whether it's a maintenance department, quality control department, or the project management department. So definitely in all those departments, I have gone through approximately year and a 2 month rotation cycle for all the departments. So I have to face different managers of the different departments. Every person have their own perspective to deal with these people underneath them. So sometimes I have to go through a destructive criticism. At that time when I face a destructive criticism, I think of myself that why I have been here, why I can't do this thing properly, what was the problems which I have been facing to solve those things. Although at that time I was not thinking properly, just give me a second. Sorry, yes. So although at that time people were like that, okay, is it okay if I can speak in Urdu and English both? Yeah, fine. So at my time, once in the electrical maintenance department, I have been working there on the transformer movement, complete transformer shipment. Actually, I was new to electrical since I am from the metallurgical engineering background. Electrical is new thing for me to have been working over there. So I just mistakenly put my hand on the transformer, although it is shut it off. But manager comes up over here and he says, "What are you doing here? You don't have to work over here. You are just a management trainee. You have to sit in the office. You're not supposed to be at the project places since there's a huge risk involved in the movement and something like that." So that words of the manager, I think it's a destructive criticism. There could be another way of him to teaching me how to be avoided a risk in a workplace. He could come up with the idea like, "Hamad, what are you doing here? Better, you don't supposed to be here, although this is a very risky position. If you want to be on the project side, you just step aside. You can be here. You don't supposed to sit in the office. Just look whatever happening in the project side, but from a further distance. Since you are new to electrical maintenance, you don't need to be indulge yourself completely in the transformer shipment repositioning. You just stand aside and see what people are doing, and if you are capable and if you think that this thing is out of danger and I can do this thing with my bare handed, then you come up and ask me, sir, can I do this particular thing along with your team? And if I give you, then you can do it. So these are the two different ways to deal with the people whom you are working with. In the first case, if manager deal what manager has done with me, at that time I was like, yeah, what actually said to me, he just don't want me to over here. He just don't want me to see, okay, what people are doing, how I'm supposed to learn these things if I don't be in here. So I just quite the particular department, went to the office, sit over there for the whole 2 days, and I have been sitting over there since no one asked me to come over outside and see what people are doing on the project side. So those 2 days of my life as an MTO in electrical maintenance department, for which I have been only appointed for 1 month approximately. So in 1 month, I have wasted those 2 days just because of the destructive criticism. That why he talked to me like this. I won't go anywhere if no one asks me, if no one allow me, if no one call me to that particular places.
Thank you so much for providing examples that support your statement. Okay, since you have worked in Amreli Steels for more than 3 years, my next question would be, how would you identify demotivation among team members, and what are those tools or techniques to increase your morale? Since you might have worked in teams there. So what's your take on this?
Yeah, I got your question. So, out of 3 years of experience in Amelia Steels, the last 2 years I have been properly working with the mechanical maintenance department of the rolling mill. There we have a team of 20 engineers, and rest of the people are foremen and the laymen, the workers who work on the downside. As I already told you that at that time Amir really is evolving from non-corporate organization to corporate organization. In a career path of any engineer, there are two different type of ladders. The first is the technical ladder. The second is the managerial ladder. The organization has to define the pros and cons of both the ladders, that whatever ladder you as an engineer have been choosing will guide you towards what career path. Clear? And as an engineer, you have to decide yourself whether I have to pursue my career on the technical side completely, or whether I want to pursue my career on the managerial side. Fine with it. And as far since these things at that particular time was not completely evolved, and it was evolving at that time. So what I've learned from here, once back in 2018, when the transformation process has been completed approximately 50 to 60%, they have been giving chance people to become a rising star. Rising star is a memorandum which is been given to the new engineers, electric engineers working in different organization, and those type of trophies, those type of training and development programs which has been done in any industries, they will boost the morale of the people who are working over there. So let me describe you clearly how you're supposed to increase the morale and what Amreli did to increase the morale of the India, and what different organizations like Indus Motors and other companies do to increase the morale of the people working in particular department. So as of working in particular department, whether it could be mechanical, production, electrical, or maintenance, you have to be in link with all other department on the floor. If you are working in the mechanical department, you have to do work along with the electrical department, along with the production department, as well as the quality control department. So the loophole over there at that time, there was no proper communication, no proper training and development has been decided and incorporated for the engineers, so that they can learn something new about other departments. Likewise, if you take an example, like I'm working in mechanical maintenance department, and there's a problem or there's a downtime due to machine failure at the production unit. Since it's a machine failure at the production unit, everyone trying to push a ball in different department code that this is not our problem, this is your problem, this is not our problem, this, and that happened because people do not aware of other department as well, that what things comes in the scope of which departments. Let's suppose if we talk about a simple machine which is a rolling machine, the mechanical moving rollers have been associated to mechanical department, the gearbox is associated to mechanical department, and the electric motors, the fan has been associated to electrical department, while other associated equipments has been associated to production department. So that means in one particular machine, all products, all equipment has been associated to all the department who are working in that organization. So if people do not aware about other department responsibilities, roles and responsibilities, if people do not aware about the machine completely apart from their part, like if I'm not aware about the electrical part of the machinery, I just aware about the mechanical part, how I supposed to solve the problem collectively. So for that, Amreli Steel starts a training and development sessions, which is an in-house training, and for that they will do they do training on weekly basis. One person from every department, they selected one particular machine. Let's suppose today we talk about the furnace. This with respect to furnace, half hour to 2 hour given to every single department personnel. They come up on a stage, or for the presentation they describe each and every perspective of the furnace from their point of view, what things are for them they are responsible for. Likewise, other department comes one by one, they do describe with themselves, and then they sort out the problem which has been in past regarding to the furnace. That last year we had that particular downtime on the furnace, and that problem happened according to that. So these things and these clarities which has been indulged within the department boost the morale of the people to kept working togetherly collectively in an organization for the organization betterness. Because if people learn about different things, if people want to work with different people, that means they are open to discuss different things, they are open to discuss constructive criticisms, they are open with everything, they are open with other department, like yes, we do have that particular problem in that particular machine, we are sharing with you so that you can help us to solve that particular problem. And those environment where everyone is open with all the people, those particular environments are really friendly, really helpful for everyone, because in those particular environment people working stress free. Got it? Because stress is quite a huge part, plays a very huge part for the destructiveness of a person career growth. So in those department, I used to work on those department. I literally have been stress free all the time because I know that everyone is open for everything. If I got any problem, I simply call any person for the help, and they will accept it. Yes, this is our problem. We'll resolve it. And on statistical level, after those training and development, Amreli Steel has been seen a very less downtime. Downtime is a time which is related to production of the plant, whether it could happen with due to any of the department, like it is because of the mechanical failure, electrical failure, or the production failure, or quality control issues. So once people are working together in a stressful environment, the downtime scale drops drastically, because people start solving problem rather than pushing ball from one port to another port.
Um, that's really good. That was very helpful. Since we're talking about teams and working together, when we're coming into an industry, we're also sometimes put into teams where we're asked to work among team members, where we have to deal a lot of things because people are very diverse and they're coming from different backgrounds. And usually, when you come into a team, people sometimes don't trust each other, or they take some time to trust you. So how would you say, like, how would you handle if you're the team leader or the managing person over there? So how would you handle trust issues among team members? What would be the skills?
Okay, so apart from my career for the educational background, I have been working with the British Council for 3 to 4 years back at the time of my graduation, as of training and development side. So I have been working with very diversified people. They are from different religion, they are from different backgrounds. Some are rich, some are poor, some are middle class, different classes. So they taught me a very good lesson that how to be working with diversified environment, and eventually diversified environment is really helpful for your career development. Those people who think that we can make a lobby of same group of same mindset people, there's a very huge problem with those things. If you make a lobby of yourself with the same minded people, that means you are not learning anything new near so far, because they are same minded people, na? Let's suppose if I go to buy something, I buy different air conditioner. I guess, okay. So yes, I went to buy the air conditioner along with my friend who is the same minded people like me. I went over there and we were discussing that which air conditioner should we buy. So he said, okay, buy that one. I say buy that one. That means there is no discussion overhead. We do not discuss about the pros and cons of having a same air condition. But if I take someone from a different mindset of mine, and I said that I want to buy that air conditioner, he refused. No, you don't supposed to buy that air condition because this air condition has those problems. You should consider other options as well. So that means my learning area and my learning circle is start increasing. So diversity in that case helps you a lot. So as of been working in different organization, I've worked with people from different regions, people from Punjab, people from interior Sindh, people from Karachi. Some of them are Hindu, Christians, and other people as well as in Amreli Steel or as well as in Descon as well, both of the industries. So the best thing you try to do for the diversified learning, let's suppose I am a team leader of a particular group of people. I have 10 people in my group. One people do not have a experience with the ruling. For instance, if I am assigned as a production side, he is from the Dolans, for instance. Another one is just graduated from Mehran University. Some of them have been graduated from the different universities. So what I do first, initially, we need to have an open discussion with our team member for every single problem. Let's suppose one problem arises from the production department. Let's you guys have that particular downtime or you guys have that particular problem. So as a team leader, I should call all members of my team to come and open on board with us and to discuss that particular problem and give their solutions. Those who do not have any good experiences, they share according to that. Because if you do not have any bad experience in the past, or if you do not have any, how you supposed to tackle those situations? So what that particular thing do, those who do not have experience only listen or can share something with their knowledge, or those who have experience, they share openly that what we're supposed to do and to resolve that particular problem, to resolve that particular issue. In that case, all 10 people of my team are start learning, because everyone has a different solution, different mindset, right? Someone says this could be solution A could be right. Other person says solution B could be right. Now they justify themselves. Why I said solution A right? Why I said solution B is right? The other people sitting in the room, they think about it. Okay, now they start thinking. They start mastering about what actually solution A is, what actually solution B is. When we start discussing pros and cons of both the solution, so it will help people to understand those things. So if we do not have diversity, we never have two solutions. We only have one solution. And one solution could not lead us to have a successful, clear, successful, clear solution of that particular problem. We always have, must have alternate solutions, at least two or three solutions, but we only have two or three solutions in only case that when we have diversified people who from diversified background, from different mentality, from different think tanks. When they come up together, they will definitely solve the problem in a most unique and essential and effective way. So you can do these sort of trainings for problem solving. You can also do SWOT analysis, strength, weakness, and opportunities and threat. You have to assign people on different tasks in multiple groups, sometime making some person leader, sometime giving task to someone else. So when let's suppose if I have 10 people, I develop five groups of two people, then I switch members of the group, so they start working together, they know about each another in detail. Because if I make lobby of five and five people all alone, that means they cannot learn anything else. But if the group of members is constantly changing after a week, it means both of them people trying to know each another, that what is his weaknesses, what is his pros and cons, in what direction he is very good, whether he is good at problem solving, or whether he is good at doing technical work and something like else. So these type of grouping, frequent changing in the group, having open discussion with the people will help you to work with the diversified people in an effective way.
Thank you so much for such a detailed response on how to handle conflicts among team members. Okay, so lastly, I want to ask you this. Since you have been teaching students at NED University for almost 2 years, also you were an instructor at Anis Hussain for training students for GRE and SAT tests, etc. So I would request you to share few tips on what students should do during their education period to have a successful career ahead in their future.
Yes, so for that I have to go back towards my engineering, or at that time when I was a student in university. So at my time of learning, doing an undergraduate from NED University, I have gone through different tasks and different areas, whether it is training and development. As of my career in engineering side, when I indulged in NED University as a student back in 2011, I also joined the School of Leadership via conference, Young Leaders Conference, and I also initiated my own welfare to help people, and we do distribute rations, and we have to go through different industries as well. So let me go through my first initial experience through which I have been gone through. So I joined NED in 2011 as a student. In 2012 June, I heard about a conference, Young Leaders Conference, which is organized by School of Leadership. One of my friends, Zan, he is into those things at that time. He know about different trainers, different conferences. He asked me that if you want to go in that conference. Yes, I said yes, I want to go into the con. He said the conference cost is around 70 to 80,000. I was like, this is huge for me at that time, you know. So he told me that you should design a performer in which you have to go through different industries and ask different people to sponsor you for that particular conference. So that is actually considered as a turning point for myself. What I do, I went to different industries with the performer. I guess I went 40 to 45 industries at that time. And over there, when I went to industry, I asked the people, the managerial people, I asked their time that whether you give me some time to have a discussion or something like that. I go over there, I asked them for the sponsorship, and yes, I did successfully get my scholarship for the conference. So that was a turning point when I realized that collecting a sponsor from people and having a good communication with different people, or having resourceful people in different organization, is really good for you to having a good career in future. Because if you have good friends at industries and you have good relationship with different people who are working in different industries, they will definitely a good opportunity in future ahead. So I went to the conference. I do a lot of networking with different people from diversified areas. People from School of Leadership, people from Training Impact, people from Youth Impact, people from British Council, all those things. Once I got into those things, then my career started towards the training and development side. Along with my education career in university, I do go to British Council after university. Also, although it is very hectic thing to do, you have to go to university in the morning, and once you are ended up with the university by approximately 3:30 or 4 in the evening, then I go to the British Council to design trainings, to design training and development resources and something like that. I also work with Visionary Foundation other multiple. I have worked with multiple organizations. I do training in schools, colleges, and universities. So what it helped me out, it helped me to learn diversify. I learned a lot of new things during my education career that I could go into that particular direction as well if I'm not an engineer. Engineering degree or any degree, if you want to do engineering, if you want to do business, if you want to do accounting, commerce, arts, whatever you want to do it with your complete heart, And along with that thing, you should indulge yourself in good extracurricular activities which are constructive for your career. You don't supposed to be like doing partying, going on farmhouse, arranging picnics, although they are good for you. They are not bad thing, because in that case you are developing a good bond within your pupil, the pupil whom you are working in classroom, whom you are studying in classroom. But alongside with that, you should indulge yourself in good career paths. You should explore new career paths. Likewise, I can explore myself that I also did trainings. If I do not want to pursue my career in engineering, then I can also play a part as a trainer and develop training and development side in any organization. So in that case, try to explore new things during your education career, going through diversified things, try new things. Always try new things. If someone asks you, "Yeah, I think you should do some business," do it. Start with something, start learning something, and do a constructive things in your educational career, so that once you have been graduated, you have good resources, good relationship with the people who have been working in the organization. They will guide you, because at that time they are more senior, they are 5 to 7 years senior from you, and they will exactly describe you what things you should opt and what things you should not opt. If you want to pursue your career in Pakistan, if you want to pursue your career on the international level. So the best thing is developing your communication skills, diversified learning with new things, having developing you can say resources in term of people. You can develop your links during your education. You should associate yourself with own organizations, whether they are educational organization, whether they are training organization, or whether it could be you can say any non-profitable organization. We have a lot of non-profitable organization currently working for the past 2 years due to pandemics. You should associate yourself along with that. The best thing you will learn with non-profit organization is that how you can convince anyone, because taking out money from someone's pocket is the most difficult job. And at that particular level, it is clearly defined that how good communication level you have, right? If I ask you, like Salman, Aisha, you can go to someone and ask that person to sponsor with 1 million rupees for that particular work. So if you do not have experience, if you do not have exposure, that how you supposed to develop a draft, how you supposed to do communication, how you ask for the time for the person that so that he can meet you. So those things you can learn during your education time. Because at that time, if you learn those things, they will help you a lot, because those communication skills will take you to the skies in your career in future, because you know how to deal with the managers, how to deal with the co-workers, how to deal with the laymen who are working down the fields, because you don't have a straight tone. You don't supposed to have a straight tone for all the people. You have to mold yourself for every single personality whom you will be talking. Is it clear? So that learning you should develop in your career path. Books are necessary. Yes, they are necessary. Courses, they are necessary. Yes, it is very necessary for having a degree in that particular field. Along with that, good communication skills, good diversified learning, and good different options you should explore yourself is mandatory for you in an education path.
I completely agree with what you have said. Once again, thank you so much, Mr. Ahmad, for taking out time for us and sharing such great insights from your vast experience, and also for sharing examples from both professional and personal life on what can be done to tackle workplace issues. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Stay tuned for more updates, and this interview will be uploaded on YouTube and Facebook page, that is Career Talks. Thank you so much. Allah Hafiz.